Hey everyone. I know I'm probably about a minute or two early. Let me know if you can hear me. I'll let everyone get on. Light's a little bright. We need to learn how to dim that. So we're getting there. I know a bunch of you are going to start popping on. Have pictures behind me, as you can see. The room that I'm in is in Grayson's room. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Can anyone hear me out there? Just let me know. I'm listening, or I'm watching the comments and stuff like that, and I see all of you guys are popping on, and I overwhelmingly appreciate you guys. Thumbs up. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so I have my box of tissues because God only knows what's going to happen tonight. I appreciate all of you being there. Thank you for the thumbs up. I have a notebook that I'm going to look down at. There's a few things that I wanted to make sure that I remembered to go over with you. But this is all from the heart. This is all very real talk. And this is all the truth. This is basically the aftermath of suicide. The room that you see that I'm in is Grayson's room. This is the first time I've been in here in a while. Sorry. I wanted all of you to hear it from me, to hear it from us, of what we've been going through. I know you guys have been reading our post and you've reached out to us. And I want to make one thing very, very clear. Because of you reaching out to us, checking in on us, reading our post, sharing our post, it has made a huge, huge impact in our lives, in our mental recovery. And I cannot thank you enough for everyone that has reached out, that has shared your stories with us. We've had a ton of people say how much that we have helped, that we've saved lives, that he is continuing to save lives. So please keep the stories coming. Keep reaching out to us. We know that it's starting to slow down, and people often get scared, or they don't want to bring up feelings or keep reminding us that he is gone. Don't worry about that, because the more that we talk, the more that we share his story, his legacy, and the short time that he was on this earth, it makes a huge impact on us. And it helps. It really does. It helps. And the overwhelming love that we've gotten from all of you has helped greatly. And I cannot thank you enough. We, as a family, cannot thank you enough for how much the community has poured their heart out to us. I'm sorry. Ever since the day it's happened, we've had so many people that showed up at their doorstep. I don't know how I even got our address. But it helps. So don't stop. We've had some parents have concerns of not letting their children read our post, because we have a lot of them. That friend requested us on Facebook. Please, this is something that we need to change. We need to stop worrying about hiding things from our children. Yes, we want to protect our children. The world can be a very cruel world, but there are things that, as a parent, we have to have those hard conversations. And as kids, as much as you being a kid, that you don't want to go to your parent and say, I lied, I screwed up, I did something wrong. The parents are there to protect you. The parents are there to help guide you into adulthood. You're a kid. You're going to screw up. It's going to happen. But your parent is going to get upset and disappointed in you. But I promise they do it out of love. They don't do it out of meanness. So I wanted to reach out in that respect and say, we got to open the lines of communication, because in this world we are so dependent on our cell phones, social media and everything to communicate with each other, that we've learned how we have disconnected, that we're not talking anymore. We're so worried about other things. So again, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to tell the story of Grayson and exactly what happened, because everybody needs to hear it. They need to hear the truth. We've learned a lot of rumors that happened on that day, and the speculation that's still going around. People are surmising things, and they think they know it. So I just wanted to clear that up and give you guys an understanding, because suicide hurts. The person who does it is no longer in pain, but the family lives with the pain for the rest of their lives. I have a hole in my chest that does not go away. There are moments that I can sit and talk and have no problems. And this morning in my business meeting, I lost it. I had to step out. And I've been pretty good all day until I got on with you guys. But I wanted to give you a raw, honest talk about what goes on. And this has become my mission. I've had a few people reach out to us. We've had a few people reach out to us that want to start a dialogue talking about suicide. After all this happened, when I was able to formulate thoughts and I just started looking up things, what I learned about the facts blew me away. From the ages of 10 years old, 10 to 17, out of all the deaths between those two ranges of age, of 10 years old to 17-year-old, 1/3 of those age children die from suicide. It is the second leading cause of death among our teenagers. That's not including adults, and that's not including cancer patients and other stuff. It is suicide amongst our teenagers. It's the second leading cause of death from those age groups. It is becoming an epidemic, and that's from the 2018 statistics. It is scary. It is absolutely scary that our children are dying at such a rate by their own hands. There's absolutely no reason to commit suicide. I will say that there isn't any. There's no problem that is too bad that you think that that's the end of the world. Now, I'm not saying that it's not crossed people's minds. It has crossed my mind. Some of you know about my past, some of you don't, but I will tell you right now, growing up, I was sexually abused. I was raped as a teenager. Had a couple bad relationships when I was a little bit older. I have a mother who is bipolar, or is bipolar, and very difficult to live with. And unfortunate that at a time when I was 16, that I felt that no one cared about me. I felt that what was going on, and we had to move in Section 8 housing, and we lived on WIC and food stamps, and it was just me taking care of my sisters, because my mom was either drunk or such in a manic depressant. She was in her room all the time. It was difficult, and at that time I can look back and say I was being selfish, and I didn't want the pain anymore. I didn't want to live with that, so I seriously thought about it. My grandmother helped save me, and I look at it now is that I was saved, and I have an amazing career now. I have a beautiful husband. I had beautiful children. I have beautiful children. My oldest son is my world now, and our grandbaby. And I wouldn't have had that. I wouldn't have had that if I didn't follow through, if I fell through with wanting to kill myself. But talking to some of these kids who've reached out to us, the reasons that, they say, we've had so many of them, like, Miss Cooper, I really thought about it. Or Mr. Cooper, it wasn't too long ago that I tried, and someone stopped me. These children nowadays have such a life. Social media is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. It's very difficult to differentiate between what's real life and what social media life is. And not everyone's nice to each other. We do live in a cruel world, but I've learned in this very short amount of time of how beautiful people are during the darkest time of your life. And with that said, I know that there's so many reasons, like with me being sexually abused, raped. A lot of girls have problems with that. Even boys have issues. They're not fit enough, or they're not in the in crowd, or they don't make straight A's at schools, or they wear glasses, or they don't do their makeup nice, or they're too fat, or they're too skinny, or whatever a reason is. There isn't a reason, but you hear some of the reasons. With Grayson, in his story, he wasn't depressed. He was one of the happiest people that I know. He was very strong. He was a lot like me. A lot like me. We found out that he got a speeding ticket the night before. He actually got it the month before, but the night before, Thursday evening, we got a thing in the mail saying that he got a speeding ticket. He swore up and down it wasn't him, so he lied. The Friday morning, I went to DMV to go get some information, and his dad went to the magistrate's office. I can't say that word, because we found out he got a ticket in Charleston County. He works in Moncks Corner, which is Berkeley County. So he left work, which we later found out. And let me stick with the story. So I went to DMV, got some information, and I had called him at 8:50 in the morning. And I told him, I said, look, please let me know if this is what's going on. If you lied to me, we can work it out, yada, yada, yada. He swore up and down it wasn't him. My husband called me and said, you might want to go search his car and see if he has the ticket in the car. So I went to the school. I was there probably about 9:30, maybe 9:34. The office called down to his classroom. He wasn't there. He had gone to the bathroom. They called again, and they said Grayson disappeared. I went to another office to get his parking number for where he parked his car in the student parking lot. The kids were looking for him. That's how Grayson's name got out so quickly, because the whole entire school started looking for him instantly. So everyone was texting each other, hey, where's Grayson Cooper? That's how his name got out so quickly. I went out to the parking lot to see if his car was there, hoping that I could catch him, or hoping that he had ran away, and, that we could work this out. I walked up to the car and I noticed the glass was shattered. And I saw him. I was the one that found him. And honestly, I can say that I'm grateful that I found him, because I didn't want anybody else to see that. I didn't want any of the children to see that, because no one needs to see that. And as a mother, I'm okay with that because I was there. Because I found him before anyone else did. Because I don't want the other children to have to go home with those nightmares. And their parents have to deal with that. So with that, as much as it hurt, I'm grateful that it was me. So, I called 911. I had to open the door to see if he was still breathing, and he wasn't. I had to check him to see if he's warm. He was still warm. The ambulance came, and then chaos ensued from there. I know the rumors started flying around the school very, very quickly, saying that he shot himself, he shot a girlfriend, he shot a girlfriend's boyfriend, teachers. I mean, the stories of the kids were crazy. They really were. Yeah, you hate to say it, but kids' imagination. And the thing is, when something like this happens, when people don't understand, people try to make sense out of something that they don't understand because it's human nature. As humans, we have to understand something, because if we don't understand it, it messes with our heads. So we kind of make up a story to make it better. And I can understand that that's why the kids were doing that. So a lot of the stories were going around, and, the kids started reaching out to me. I didn't know this until afterwards, but I had a lot of messages on my phone asking where Grayson was and if he was alive. Grayson was happy. He had no depression. He had nothing to worry about. He was about to get a scholarship that day to go to flight school for the summer with his JROTC. His JROTC was his life. He loved JROTC. He loved everybody in it. He was going to go in the Air Force. That was his love. He didn't think he got the scholarship. He didn't think that he was going to do it. And he did. So, of course, I had the coroner, the police officers, the chaplains. We were all in the principal's office with my husband, and my son, Grayson's brother, came to join us. We're all in shock. And if you never really know what shock is like, you say a lot of things, you do a lot of things, and your body does not cooperate with you at all. I was cold for days, and I'm still cold at times. Usually I run a little hot, and I can't get warm. We've been freezing. You start crying at little things. I cried over cat poop. I cried cleaning the litter box because that was his job. I cried the other morning. But yeah, and I posted that in one of my posts. Being in his room. His room is starting to lose the smell. I can't smell my boy. He's not here to replenish. Sorry. I thought I could get through this without breaking down so much. And all of you and your support has been absolutely phenomenal. People coming out of the woodworks, telling us their stories. This necklace that I'm wearing, a lady at his funeral told us that she bought one for each of us because her son did this a year ago. And she understood. She really did. So the aftermath is what people need to understand. I remember sitting at the funeral home, and it was after the kids were done. They were all standing around talking, and there was no more people to hug. That's another story. I'll tell you in a minute. But the kids started talking and they didn't think I was listening. And one of the kids were saying that the adults don't understand. They're just sweeping it under the rug. How can we go back to our normal lives? You know, this is a tragedy. This is not normal. You're right. It is a tragedy. It is not normal. To the adults, we have to address these issues with these kids because we never knew how much, Grayson never knew how much he impacted everyone's life. That whole entire school knew of or knew him. The teachers, even the teachers that he really didn't like, loved him. Unfortunately, some of the teachers were there with me and they saw Grayson, and I wish I could erase that from their memories. A couple of the teachers are taking this very, very hard. So please, you kids, don't think for 1 minute that those teachers, Principal McNow, don't think that they're not hurting. I promise you they are. We've seen it. And what was told to me, and me wanting to be a psychologist when I was younger, one thing that always stood out to me is the different stages of grief. And one of the things that they always said in counseling is the sooner you get back to routine, the sooner you begin to heal. And I say back to routine because you can't say going back to normal, because there is no normal. We have a new normal. My normal would be having my son back with his crazy self and his goofy laugh, and being angry with him because he got a ticket and lied to us, instead of being so distraught that he's gone. So kids, don't you for one second think that they're sweeping it under the rug. They're trying to make it an easy transition. They're trying to get you back into the routine of life because it helps to get past the healing. It helps to get through the healing. I had to go back to work. Grayson's brother had to go back to college and work. My husband's, Grayson's dad, had to go back to work. It's not easy. There's little reminders everywhere. I go back to work and I look at all the things that Grayson helped me, because he was there when I started my business. He helped me hang up things in my room. He's made things to decorate. He loved woodworking and he did things, and you know, he was always there doing things. So there's always those reminders. So don't think for 1 minute they're just sweeping it under the rug. I promise you they're not. And for the adults, you got to talk to your kids. I've talked to Grayson. He knew about suicide. He always said that was the coward's way out. He knew that I thought about it when I was a teenager and how of a difficult life that I've had. He knew that his brother had some hard times too, you know, just going through, you know, growing up as a teenager. It's not easy being a kid. We adults understand that. We've been there. And you kids have it a lot harder than what we did with this social media. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what this social media is doing, and how people hide behind the screens to bully each other, or, you know, to say things, or to think that social media is your life. You know, it is not reality to some extent. Social media is a good thing and it's a bad thing. I mean, I have to use it every day in my work, but it's also to the thing that it can get you in a lot of trouble, in the respect of it can make you feel how you don't need to feel. Some of these girls, they're absolutely stunning. And I'm not meaning in looks, I mean in intelligence and how they come across, that are being made to feel like that they're the ugliest things upon this earth and they should be dead. I mean, come on. That to me is just cruel. And these boys who are not in trend or wearing the right things or listening to the right music, you know, Why are we picking on each other so bad? That I don't understand, but I'm not trying to get on that tangent. I'm sorry. Um, with me posting things, it's not because I wanted to, have you guys feel my pain. I wanted to share my pain. I wanted you to understand that so many people get upset when others hurt. The community's been coming out, and every time I post something, everyone's like, hey, are you okay? Hey, are you this? Hey, you that? I'm not doing it because I want you to be upset by it. I'm doing this because we need to show the world that we need to talk about this. We need to talk about depression. We need to talk about the children. We need to talk about parents talking to their kids and kids talking to their parents. We have to start a communication. We have to start a dialogue. We have to learn how to talk to each other again. It is absolutely heartbreaking of how many kids have told us that they're talking to us and not their parents because they can't. They feel like they cannot talk to their parents. And it's a shame because parents are going to get upset when you do things that we tell you not to do, because we give you guidelines that you're supposed to be. It's not because we're trying to be buttholes about it. It's because we're trying to give you guidelines on how to grow up to be an adult. We are trying to be your guidance. Parents are not perfect. I'm not perfect. I feel like I failed my son. I feel like I failed my whole family. I feel like a failure as a mother. But I don't want to fail anybody else. We've had people say that it helped save lives, and I'm forever grateful for that. Yes, I did get a little jealous because they got to hold their kid and I don't hold mine, but that's normal. But I'm so grateful that you get to hold yours, and I was able to help with that. This is why that we're doing this. This is why I am beginning to talk to people. It's helped. It's really helped of talking to people at work, sharing stories with my husband and sharing stories with my son. It's helped. But we know our purpose now. I started a business a few months ago of motivational speaking on this page, talking about, personal growth, business, mental health, and everything, because growing with a bipolar mom, that was rough. That was very rough. Mental health is a huge thing, and it's 90% of the suicide rate, especially in teenagers. Last year, I attended an amazing group of firefighters and police officers, and I was absolutely blown away at the statistics in that more police officers and firemen die by suicide in the line of duty than they actually do die in the line of duty. That blew me away, and that really opened up my eyes, and I wanted to speak this coming year about my own personal with suicide. And when I was raped, it was a very horrific experience, and there were cops there, and for what I went through with them, and I wanted to relay that to the cops. But now I have a whole new story to relay. So I've been on both sides of the suicide coin. This side sucks. This side sucks greatly. But people need to see this, because we need to show people that this is not an answer. Like my husband says, this is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. We have too many people dying by suicide. Way too many. And there's absolutely no reason for it. We live in a world of instant gratification. We live in a world that we don't want the pain anymore. I can tell you right now, that I would take being sexually abused, being raped, and having the bad relationships that I had 100 times over than this pain that I have. Because there is no pain like this. I cannot even put it into words. I know you guys can see it. And I've been trying to be good. But there is no pain of losing your child. There's none. There's not even a word. When you lose your spouse, you're a widow. When you lose your parent, you're an orphan. I've come up with a word that when you lose your child, that you're broken. Because that's what I am. You know, everybody said that Grayson was always the light of their life. He always had a joke. He always had a laugh. He always had a hug. That's how people knew me. That person's gone. But I am becoming a warrior. I'm trying to stay strong. I want to be a soldier in Grayson's army. Because I want to help others. I want to start going and talking about this. I want to go into the schools. You were my first one, so that's the reason why so many tears. But I want to get stronger. We've had a person who works at the schools that talks to the kids, that wants us to start talking to them and talking to the kids, and that's what I want to do. We've also had a couple of newscast people reach out to us to do interviews, and I'm very much wanting to do this. And someone reached out to my husband from the state house in Colombia that wants to start communication, to start a dialogue. This is my mission now. This is my goal. This is where I'm going. As a massage therapist, I always told people that when you massage the body, the mind will follow. When you relax the body, the mind will follow. And I try to give comfort to people because that's what I enjoy doing. I try to make people feel good, feel comfortable, and that's what I can give through massage. But I am ready to take it up to another notch, and I want to start talking to people. I want to give people hope. I want to give people honest conversation, and I want people to understand that I know what it's like to be in that darkness. I know what it's like to not think of any way out except suicide. I understand. Grayson was at that point where he thought the whole world was about to crush because he didn't want to disappoint his parents and that he knew that he had lied. So what we found out afterwards, as we were doing all the talking and people telling us stories about Grayson, going to the bank, looking at his account, and really looking at where he got the ticket, we found out that he's been going around helping people. Grayson was spending money on others, buying lunch, buying them whatever. Not a lot, just a little bit here and there. But Grayson was a very private person. Even on his social media, he was a private person. He didn't share his picture much, but he would share a picture of his brother. He would share a picture of me or of his dad. He really loved drones, and he was always flying the drones and taking sunsets or, sunrises because he knew that's what I liked. Come to find out, he was helping a lot of people, and he did it very quietly. We didn't even know because he was that type of person. He would give you the shirt off of his back and, not let anybody know. That was just him. So he was at that moment where he knew that he was going to let down a whole lot of people and have his parents very upset at him and find out a few things. And at 16, that's your whole world. I do understand it. It's no excuse. but I do understand it. And that's why I wanted to, hopefully you kids are on, because I want you to understand, I promise you, how your mindset, how you are right at this age, I promise you it changes. I was a totally different person in my 20s, and I was a totally different person from my 20s to my 30s. And now that I am 46 years old, I'm a totally different person again. Broken, but I'm a totally different person. Right now, going back to 16, I wouldn't do it. You guys have such a hard job right now with school. The school is not even the same as when we were in school. What you guys have to deal with the testing, and it's constantly pounded in your head of you need to know what you want to do in 4 years and what college you're going to. You got to be kids. You need to just learn to enjoy life. And I promise you, things will happen in its own time. Everything happens for a reason. I said that there's no reason for suicide, and there's not. But I've got to take the best out of the situation. And that's what I'm doing right now. All of you that are on here tonight, I cannot... Words... Thank you is not enough. Thank you is really not enough, but it is really all that I have. Because all of you on here tonight are showing support. All of you are telling me to stay strong. I got a tattoo today that says that. Because of all of you saying that you're so strong, that you're stronger than me. I don't know how I would be if I lost my child. I promise you, it doesn't feel good. But you really don't realize how strong you are until that's the only option you have. My husband and I made a promise to each other Friday night, Saturday morning, because we both kept waking up crying, screaming, hoping that this was a nightmare. We made an honest-to-God promise to each other that we would stay. I mean, a promise from I don't know where, because both of us wanted to leave. I know my son did too. He had a panic attack, his very first one. That was not easy to watch. Not easy at all. I can't lose anymore. My only option is to be strong. And if I can't have my son, by God, I want you to have your child. And it's my mission now that I'm going forth and I'm going to go start talking to people. I am making this a mission. A bunch of you have reached out and said that God has spoken to you. I'm a spiritual person, not a religious person, but if God's speaking to you to speak to me, please, I will take it. All of you that have been praying for me, I will take it. We will take it. You don't realize how much of you reaching out to us and talking to us, sharing stories. Don't feel like that we're this fragile person that you cannot talk to anymore. The more you talk, I don't want to say the easier it becomes, because it's never going to be easy. My life is forever changed. But you can learn to talk through it without the tears as much. Now, there will be stupid things that I do that will remind me of him. Grayson loved cars. And for those who really know me, I love cars. So we were always comparing cars. And some of his taste in cars I never understood, because that child loved some weird cars. God. But we always sat there and talked about cars. And he loved it's a 1971, I believe, 1970, I think it's a 71 Challenger. He loved it plumb crazy. That's what he called it. He wanted a purple Challenger. That was his. And an El Camino. And this stupid Volkswagen Beetle bus. Oh my God. I told you he liked weird cars. But It's my mission now. I don't want you to feel that you can't talk to us, that some people, my clients are coming in and they're afraid to mention anything. Don't be afraid. Pain hurts. Nobody wants to cause another person pain, especially pain like this. And if you're a parent, that's a pain you are so afraid to feel. I promise you, I would rather talk about my son because it's already this I'm going to cry on, so I apologize now. It already feels like almost like it was a dream that I've always had just one kid. Tomorrow is 3 weeks. And it feels like a lifetime ago. I look at the pictures and I feel like, did that really happen? So yes, hold on to your children. Have those hard conversations with them, because once you learn what your child is going through, I know some are having depression issues, some are having bullying issues, some are having just school issues, some are having, what are the ones that I heard? They didn't do well on a test, or they didn't get the grade that they thought they were, and they expected their parents to yell at them. Grades are not love. Please tell your kids that. Kids, please understand that your parents would rather have you there than worry about your damn grades. Yes, you need good grades. I'm not saying don't get good grades. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they rather have you there, and they would rather struggle with you than struggle without you. And parents, these kids are going through some rough times, harder than what we did when we were in school. We need to have those conversations with them young and keep the conversation. There are things I understand as a parent. You never know. You don't want to know about your child, but I promise you, you rather have them safe than end up like I am. Use me as an example. Kids, if you can't talk to your parents, or you feel like you can't open that communication, talk to me. There are people that I know that are absolutely beautiful counselors. There's a gentleman that is a chaplain, but he's also a counselor, and come to find out, he's almost family. So he's been reaching out to us. We've been reaching out to him. The communication, that's what I'm saying, is communication. Parents, talk to your kids. Kids, talk to your parents. You must start the dialogue. And the hashtag that I started for Grayson is live for Grayson. Hashtag live for Grayson. Because if you don't live for yourself, live for him. I have an angel in heaven who's watching over me. And I'm learning how to live a new normal. My husband and I are learning how to function as a couple. We're learning how to be parents of one child and parents of a deceased child. That's not easy. And I'll close with this. When you have this happen and you go to a funeral home, the hardest thing to do was to legibly write for an application of a death certificate. I don't know how I did that. And then having to take those death certificates to people, and the way they look at you People are so afraid because they look at you, and I get it. I do. I understand, because you look at somebody, you don't know what to say, and people, they turn away because they can't say anything, or they're like, "I'm sorry." And people, they ask me, "Hey, are you okay?" And they look at me like, "Oh, that's not a good question. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "I get it." When you're asking me if I'm okay, you're not asking me, "Hey, are you okay?" You're asking me, "How are you? What mental state are you in? Are you okay? Do you need a hug? Do you do not need a hug?" I get the underlying message when people ask me questions. I'm just saying, as a community, don't stop reaching out. All of you at Cane Bay High School, teachers and students, faculty, teachers, everyone, I cannot thank you enough for that morning. For Tuesday, when we went back, you allowed us to see the kids, and you kids dressed up in all of his colors. Yeah, my kid was one of those that wore bright neon or camo. He did not have fashion sense. Not at all. Grayson did not have fashion sense. But he loved safety yellow, and he loved his camo. And almost everybody in that school, 9th grade to seniors, were wearing them. I've had some of the seniors tell me that they are having pins made and they're going to wear it at graduation. The JROTC is taking donations in his honor, because we asked for, instead of flowers, we asked for you to make donations to JROTC. All of Cane Bay Subdivision, all of our friends, family, my co-workers, our co-studio owners, every single one of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's not enough, but it's all I have. So I'm going to end with that. And I'm telling you, I love each and every one of you. And you haven't heard the last of me. I will be better about speaking, but I wanted to publicly speak to you, and you needed to hear Grayson's story from my mouth and not believe the stories. There were some bad stories. There was a video, and I know probably most of you know this. Some of the kids at the high school had a video that was posted on Facebook of him being taken out of his car. It was taken down very quickly, so I'm very grateful that I didn't see that, because I saw enough. And to those kids, that's not cool. Because if it was your family member, or if it was you, your family wouldn't want to see you like that. So there's a time and a place to post videos, and there's a time and a place to respect. I grew up in a family that we respected the dead, and we respected their memories through good things. And I hope that you will do that as well. So with that said, hashtag live for Grayson. Suicide aftermath hurts. It sucks. It is a physical pain. But I promise you, until my very last breath, I'm going to try to save as many people as I can. I am going to start going around to schools, wherever I need to go, I am going and I am talking. So if you ever need someone to listen to you, I promise you I'm your girl. My husband, Scott, he'll listen to you. It has been the one thing that has given him strength. And even Josh, he's a very quiet person, just like Grayson was, but it's helping. His friends have been a godsend. So I love you, each and every single one of you. And I'm not saying that to say that. Oh, I'm trying not to cry again. Every single one of you that are on here now, I love you. I always said that I didn't have a lot of friends. But when you throw a rock out in the water, you never realize how far that ripple goes. I'm learning. And I appreciate you. So with that, I love you. Hug your children. Talk to your children. Kids, talk to your parents. Hug them. Tell them that you'll stay. because it's permanent. You don't come back. It is not a second life. I promise you. It is final. And it hurts a lot. So, thank you for being with me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for putting up with my tears and my snot. It's on everything. Grayson's story lives on. I'm a soldier in his army. Good night, guys. Thank you.